Hey there everyone, Erik Haaland here with David Walters Yachts. I'd like to welcome you to the first Let's Talk Yachting podcast. You know, it's something I've been thinking of doing for a little while now, finally getting around to it, so to speak. There's a lot of podcasts out there these days, and I know a lot of you out there really enjoy my yacht tour videos, and I want to start off something that's pretty special here, and we're on a brand new Offshore 54 Pilothouse. So we're going to give you a tour of that today. In the future, we're going to have special guests joining us on future podcasts. We're going to be doing special trips, special updates around the area. We're going to try and do these once a month. Try to keep it to about 30 to 45 minutes, depending on the topic we're talking about. I don't want to bore you guys too much with my ramblings. But we're going to give you some good insight here into the marine industry over time, what's going on in the market. And, my job here as a yacht broker is, helping people, to educate people about the dream they're looking to have, and, lending my skill set to it. So let's begin. Hey guys, we're out here with our special guest for episode 1 of Let's Talk Yachting. You may recognize him. Josh McLean, president of David Walters Yachts, is joining me here. We're on the patio at the Annapolis office. It's past 5 o'clock, so we're having a adult beverage while we have this little discussion here. I hope you are as well. I wanted to bring Josh in here on episode 1, number 1, because he's a big colleague of mine. I'm a big fan of his. And, I think we've run a great shop here at David Walters Yachts. And, he has a unique perspective. He's not just a yacht broker. He also manages a lot of yacht brokers. And he has a unique vision of, we know that the market in the past several months, couple of years, has definitely been different since COVID. The amount of excitement in the market is definitely less than it was during COVID. Fewer boats are sold. They've been selling for a bit less money. But there's obviously some differences going on. Just in the past couple of months, we've seen that. And I want to get Josh's take on not really how much of what has happened, but what is going to happen here in the next 6 months to a year. So Josh, what do you think's going on?
Awesome, and thanks Erik for bringing this together. This is actually kind of fun to do. So cheers to you, buddy.
Cheers to that.
And thanks everybody for tuning in. As Erik had mentioned, we've seen a lot of dynamic changes in the yacht market, for a variety of different reasons. But yeah, there's no mistake about it. And anybody who's out there going through the yacht sales process or the acquisition process certainly has felt a different vibe in the air over the past, really 18 months or so. But our job, we always keep our finger on the pulse of what's going on in this market. We try to keep a pretty broad scope on what's going on, not only within our firm, but through close contact with a lot of our colleagues at other brokerage companies. And there's certainly a sentiment out there where things have slowed down and, as they'd say, softened in the market a little bit. And, that's very true. And all you got to do is, take a look at Yacht World. I'm sure many of you watching are dialed into countless newsletters from various companies and such, and hopefully the David Walters Yachts newsletter as well, which if you're not, go to our website, sign up. That's my shameless plug. Yep. But what you see a lot more of the prices softening, prices coming down. We're also seeing more inventories coming to the market, which is actually a good sign. If you go back and, I know we weren't going to talk too much about the past, but I think that gives us some perspective on the future. One of the things that I really like to kind of compare is the market from 2019 versus the market through COVID versus the market to now. And if you actually go back and look at the trends from 2019 and you kind of, I don't want to say erase because we're never going to erase that, but kind of put that COVID bump, if you will, aside, and you'll actually see that prices are now kind of coming back to the norm. The time it takes for a boat to sell or the time on market is starting to reach kind of a normal length, and so this has really been a adjustment back to the norm. The COVID years are now behind us. But we've got a lot that's kind of on the forefront here. So, obviously one of the big influences in this market for anybody utilizing financing has been interest rates. I think what we've seen is a lot of people kind of start to come to grips with the fact that these interest rates, they're here, they're plateauing, and we'll see what the Fed does here. But we're gonna, I expect, start to see those gradually falling. It's not going to be a big drop like we experienced through COVID, but it's certainly going to be a return to normal. I think that's going to have a big effect as well, especially for anybody that's purchasing maybe in that 500,000 or 250 to 500,000 range. That's a pretty common range for folks to utilize financing. So that's having a positive effect as these folks have kind of come to grips with interest rates, and we're going to start seeing those kind of come down a bit. In addition, from the buyer's perspective, the inventory had been so picked through COVID that buyers were not faced with too many options afterwards. And a lot of folks who had bought boats through COVID, who maybe had financed, much like in the housing market, they're less willing to let those boats go, while also letting go that sweet interest rate they've gotten. But we're starting to see that shift a bit. We're starting to see some of those boats that were purchased throughout those COVID years come back on the market. Prices retracted a little bit. Inventory is growing. I obviously track our listing inventory pretty closely, keeping an eye on the healthy number of listings that we carry. And we're seeing our listing inventory start to grow back to a normal level. Similarly, I see that across the brokerage spectrum as a whole. All these brokerage houses, they're starting to get that inventory back, which makes it a more competitive market for buyers. There's more options available. It also helps kind of bring the prices back to the reset, if you will. They're starting to come back to norm. Now, one of the issues that's really kind of affected, especially brokerage sales, is there's a massive inventory of new boats out there. And you don't have to wander far around the marina. We're here at Port Annapolis right now, and if I wander just a couple hundred yards behind me over at Burt Jabin's, there's a lot of inventory stacked up. And with that inventory, those dealers are anxious to move those boats. And so they're offering a lot of incentives, a lot of price reductions. And so that's also made the brokerage market more competitive, especially if you're, or it's, affected the brokerage market in the sense that, maybe folks that are looking at a late model boat can now consider a new purchase because those prices are so attractive. So that's added a bit of competition in the market. But the good news, and just from tracking our own data, we've seen the past few months be far more healthy in terms of boat sales and new brokerage inventory coming on board, really start to pick up steam. So the first 6 months of the year was pretty sluggish, and I think that was felt all across the industry. But now as we come into fall, which is really the focus of this, sit-down chat here, a couple of years, I'm pretty long-winded, so a good swig of beer every now and then.
Exactly.
I think it's healthy. Yeah. So as we come into this fall season, you're going to go to the brokerage shows or the boat shows. You're going to see more inventory available. You're going to see a healthy display of boats for sale. You'll see sellers that are eager to make a deal happen. And it's a good, healthy market. Buyers have options. The pendulum has swung back in favor of the buyer, which, anybody who tried to purchase a boat through the COVID years really understood that the sellers kind of had the advantage. But as you're a buyer coming into this market, you have the option to shop a little bit more freely, evaluate a lot of options, and certainly offering a bit of negotiation in the sales price. During COVID, we were seeing boats selling for more than list price. That was just unheard of. Multiple offers competing. Well, that's not such the case anymore. So if you're a buyer, it's a great time to get back into the market, get back onto the boat search, because the inventory is there. Prices are far more favorable. You're able to have a bit more negotiating power. And so we're seeing things really start to kind of pick up steam. So we just had our best 2 months back to back over the past 2 years. So that's a good, healthy sign. For sellers, I know our approach is, we tell you what you need to hear, maybe not what you want to hear. And sometimes that's just hard, cold data and sales histories. So I know the approach we've taken, or the tact we've taken with a lot of our sellers, is try to be really honest about market conditions, help try to set expectations. And that's for the betterment of our client. It helps the boats move, and it's just a good, honest way to go about business, right? So, boats that are coming for sale, you're going to start seeing listing prices be far more realistic than they had been over the past couple of years. Now, there's going to be exceptions. We've seen that. We've seen some boats come on the market for prices that we look at and say, boy, they're missing the mark there. But more and more, you're going to see things start to return to the norm. You're going to see the inventory picking up steam. You're going to see a far more competitive market. And all in all, I think as we head into 2025, we're going to be looking at a much more normalized marketplace here in boat sales.
That's fantastic, Josh. You hit on a lot of the key points there. And, as we come into fall, we're actually just about 2 weeks from our first fall boat show, being in Newport. International and boat show and brokerage boat show as well. We're going to be in the brokerage boat show with two beautiful Hylas, a Hylas 46 and a Hylas 54, two great boats. What's your view on boat shows coming into this year? Do you think they're going to be as big as previous years? Do you think there's going to be less manufacturers taking part? Where do you think the dynamics are changing there? Because we know that dynamic has changed some.
It has. A lot of the shows, just from the management side of these shows, have restructured. There's a couple of trade show companies that really kind of run these shows. And from a boat dealer standpoint, these shows are expensive affairs to put on. So I think the answer to that question is dependent upon whether you're looking at brokerage boats, or going to the brokerage show, or going to the new boat shows. I think the new boat shows, you're going to see less participation, probably less manufacturers, and that's because they're reeling from a lack of sales. I mean, some brands are down by as much as 45-50% in total sales versus last year. With less sales, comes less marketing money. So you're going to see probably a smaller new boat show, but the brokerage shows, I think, are going to be bigger and bigger. So, and that goes back to the inventory starting to come back. Sellers have a lot more willingness to get their boats out in front of buyers. And, I think if you're going to the brokerage show, you're going to have a great display. If you go to the new boat side, you're going to likely see many of the same manufacturers, but perhaps a little bit scaled down.
Sure. Yeah, I think that's exactly right. And something that they hit on there is, Josh mentioned more brokerage inventory. And one of the unique things actually that we do at David Walters Yachts is that during the Indianapolis Sailboat Show, we're going to have our annual Blue Water Brokerage Show, actually right here at Port Annapolis Marina. And it's something that the United States Sailboat Show actually used to have a brokerage section for sailboats, but then they did away with it some years ago. Well, we took on the torch, we carried ourselves, so we're going to have some really nice premium quality brokerage boats in Annapolis. So if you're going to be in town for the boat show, make sure you come by and see us at Port Annapolis Marina. We'll be easy to find. We'll have all our flags up.
Yep, we'll be here on D-Dock. We'll have the big circus tent set up here, welcoming folks throughout the day. It's an easy taxi ride or water taxi ride from the new boat show over here to Port Annapolis. And we've got a good selection of boats that are going to be on display.
I think so. I think so. And then of course, as the season starts to wind down, some of us will be heading down to some of the warmer regions of the planet. So make sure you stop by and see us in Fort Lauderdale and at our new office in the Caribbean on the Dutch side of St. Martin. We've got Chris and Guy down there running the show. So we've got pretty full service where all of our clients like to hang out at. It doesn't matter what time of year, we'll be there.
Yep, that's right.
That's excellent. Well, Josh, thank you so much for taking a few minutes out of your day to join us here on Let's Talk Yachting. And stay tuned next month for our next special guest. You never know who it could be.
All right. Thanks, Eric.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
So starting off, I mentioned we're on a brand new Offshore 54. We're here in Annapolis, Maryland. You might have heard of Offshore Yachts. They've been around since the early 80s, and the founders have been in the fiberglass business since the end of World War II. So they're pretty educated on how to build a boat. The boats are built in Kaohsiung, Taiwan. And if you're familiar with yachts, it might ring a bell. It's also where Johnson Yachts is located. Hylas Yachts used to be Tazwell Yachts, and several other yacht builders have been building boats in Kaohsiung for 50, 60 plus years. So the quality is as you would expect. It's some of the best in the world. Especially the joinery work is just above the bar everywhere you look. It's flawless. And in these modern times, you're seeing a lot of shipyards converting over to production supplies. You've got pre-produced paneling, you've got just really slapped together items, and it doesn't look all that good. It creaks, it groans, it doesn't feel real. You step onto an offshore yacht and the teak, it's real. It's the good stuff. This is the type of thing that's like, wow, I'm actually buying a real luxury yacht here. If you just look behind me, you see all that richwood paneling, the stainless steel, and the leather overhead. Everything is perfect. The tinted windows. You go around and look at the stainless steel railings, and all the welds are perfectly polished all the way around. There's not one loose bit of slag anywhere on them. Everything opens and closes as it should. Nothing is grinding against another piece of paneling. All the hatches open and close solidly. They all have gaskets. They're all finished on the bottom side. It really is a proper yacht, and it's hard to find these days in this size range. Usually you'll have to go to something that's a fully custom build, and even then they can be, kind of short on what they're providing these days in order to, keep the cost down. Because yeah, it is expensive to build boats these days. It's very expensive to build boats like these days. But the product you get is fantastic. You can tell looking around at it that this is a product that's going to last for decades and decades with just normal upkeep. And that's why you want to buy a quality boat, because it's going to have great resale value. One day when you sell this boat, you're going to get out of it and you're going to be made whole again. Versus buying a production quality boat, which is, as many people know, does not have the quality anymore these days. They don't stand up to the test of time. The systems and the equipment installed is all the best quality. We're talking Garmin electronics, ZF engine controls, ABT stabilizers and thrusters, MAN engines, Northern Lights generators. Should I go on? Everywhere you look, it's the best of the best that can be put into this boat, bar none. And there's a unique opportunity here where this boat's available now. You don't have to wait for the 18 plus months in order to get a new one built. And it's of a semi-custom build quality. So we're going to take a look around. We're going to be going through a lot of compartments. We're going to be crawling through the engine room. We're going to be going into the bilges in a couple spots. We're going to be looking at the backs of the electronics where the wiring is. And you're going to get a look that a lot of other people don't get to see. Even during a boat show, a lot of people don't get to see what we're going to look through here. It really tells a story of, hey, if I'm buying a boat, what matters to me? Does it matter how it looks good at the boat show sitting still, or can I actually read what the label is on the valve when the boat's tossing and turning and all I have is a flashlight with me? I think you'd rather want the latter. And if you look at production boats these days and the quality of the equipment they're using and everything else, you're going to see pretty quickly that this boat hits all the points. So here we go. So we're going to talk a little bit about the specifications here of the Offshore 54. Now this particular boat is hull number 68. They've made a decent amount of these over the years. It is currently Offshore's smallest model available. She's got a just over 57-foot LOA with a beam of just under 16 feet. She doesn't have a lot of draft thanks to some enlarged prop pockets, and on this particular hull with these MAN engines, actually bigger propellers than her predecessors. She only draws 4 foot 8 inches at the keel. Now the props only draw 4 foot 1 inch, so you got that nice protected skeg down there. So if you're in the intercoastal and you bump the bottom in the mud or whatever, you're not going to mess up your nice props, which is fantastic. The props as well, the shafts are shaft torque tubes. It's a Boss system, so it's a tube that's filled with oil with the prop shaft runs down with stabilizers on either end. That means that there's no cutlass bearings to replace. It's one piece unit. It's going to last for a very, very long time. And it doesn't create any wash from a rotating shaft before the water hits the propellers. So it creates a very efficient hull form. On hull 68 here, The molds were redone some thanks to increases in technology. Vacuum bagging is now being used. So it's a core cell foam core hull above the waterline, vacuum bag infused for a 60,000 pound displacement boat. But the beauty out of it is it's actually lighter, and the hull has been lengthened some at the back. You'll see under the swim platform that the hull extends more under the platform than in previous hulls, increasing the waterline length. So with these nice MAN 850 horsepower engines, a lighter hull, a longer waterline, she'll cruise at 18 to 20 knots, which is significant for a boat of this size. The hull is a single piece infusion, so it's not like it's two halves joined together or three pieces or whatever. It's single piece with 4 lateral stringers that run down it. It's a very strong boat. All the bulkheads and the stringers are tapped into place, and then the deck house is built as a one piece. The flybridge is built as one piece, and these 3 pieces are then joined and tabbed together. It's a very rigid, very strong structure. It's not going to flex a lot like your older boats out there, like a traditional Grand Banks or a Marine Trader, that sort of thing, or a main ship. Boats tend to flex a lot more because of the way they were built. This boat is very strongly built, so it's going to stand up to the test of time very, very well. Let's take a look around the outside of the Offshore 54 here. So one of the great things I love about this boat is the ample amount of exterior space, especially here on the swim platform. It's quite deep. It's got lots of room to hang out by the water's edge with a hideaway swim ladder. The large double stern doors here. Got the bars at the back to hang out on. The way the dock lines go through the hose pipes, so the gel coat and the teak is nicely protected. Just all really great setups. You can see just under the waterline there, you can see a hint of the trim tabs and the hydraulic stern thruster. Because the mold has been changed a little bit with the vacuum fusion and some changes to the power plant here, the boat has a little bit of a longer waterline, so you're getting even more performance out of it. You can see over here on the port side we have the air conditioning discharge. It's a single discharge for the air conditioning on this boat, and it's below the waterline, including the engine exhaust are below the waterline. So she's got a very quiet personality. You can see the side walkways are nice and open and clear all the way to the bow. I love a couple of the teak accents. There's not a lot of teak on the exterior of the boat, but this nice cap rail around the transom that's varnished is beautiful. And then the teak here just in the cockpit, it just leaves enough for a good aesthetic and a good feel, but isn't overly cumbersome in the maintenance. The stainless steel rub rail here that wraps all the way around the boat, so you have great protection on the sides, including even down low here. We're next to the dock. Great places to hold fenders. We got boarding gates here, port and starboard. See the windows here. Now the windows are actually laminated into the hull, and these up here are through bolted as well. So you have no chance of them popping open or anything while you're out there cruising. Have sling marks built in, stainless steel, so they're permanent. They're not going to fade. All stainless steel fittings here. Moving up to the bow, you can see there's a burgee holder on the top of the rail. We have our anchor roller with an ultra stainless steel anchor. Now, she's a good looking boat. Very clean looking lines. There's a nice hull lines here. So you got this wave break right here. So it lessens the spray that would come up on the side of the hull. You have some great flare as well. So you have great protection from spray. Just a really nice sturdy boat. Again, these stainless steel vents here through hulls, they're not going to pop off like plastic ones. They're not going to fade in the UV, so they're always going to be there. You don't have to worry about a fender ripping one off or that kind of thing. So now we're on the starboard side here, moving forward from the pilot house. We step up and we're on the bow deck here. I really like the two-tone cream non-skid with the white decks. See the Flybridge up there on the pilot house windscreen. hatch here for the forward VIP cabin. And we have this great seat here. It's low profile, but it's just good enough to sit down, have a cocktail at the end of the day, stretch your feet out, and then enjoy the view. It's Maxwell 24-volt windlass up here. We have an ultra stainless steel anchor. And there's also a pipe here for a second anchor chain if need be. You can see the upper anchor locker is on this side. So in here, this is where the second anchor pipe right there would come down, and you could have a second road in here. The primary comes down this pipe here and leads to the anchor locker below, which is accessed through the forward cabin. So if you don't have a second anchor rig, you can use this area purely for fender storage or dock lines. Up here on the starboard side, you have a washdown hose. And you can see up at the front we have the self-launching anchor roller on starboard, and on port we have another anchor roller for a backup if need be. We have these great stainless steel bow cleats here with these chocks. The stainless steel handrail here is nice and high all the way around the bow of the boat. We'll go down the port side here. See, here we have the forward access here to forward shore power connection. The primary is a cable master aft, but if you're bowing into a dock, you can hook up another cable here if need be. We proceed after the pile house. You see we have another set of steps going down here. We have our diesel deck fill there. We have built-in lighting overhead. We have another diesel fill there, and then we have our port side door, and we have a duplicate on starboard. Water tank fill, and then we come back into the cockpit. And one of the really unique features here are these double aft doors. You push the button, unlock it, pull this one around, lock it in place, and then we do the same with this one. And if you're stern to a dock, or if you're just out here swimming, swim ladders under this door here. You have this great open area, and it really opens up the entire aft deck into one complete living area. And just great pipes here to hold on to. These are removable if need be. See the cable master here? It comes out right there from down the lazarette, and then you take it out through one of the hose pipes here. And the built-in cleats on the hose pipes keeps the lines nice and tidy. We'll take a quick look at the swim ladder here. There we go. It's nice stainless steel, folds in position, hides away, and then this closes on top of it. You've got plenty of room back here if you had to strap something down, like a inflatable dinghy or water toys. Could definitely do so. And coming back on deck, I'll go ahead and just close these up really quick. These also lock into position down low. Keeps things from moving around. Again, lock it in place with the handle. It's not going anywhere. Access here to your dockside water inlet, along with a freshwater washdown hose. Looking around here, we have another washdown hose that plugs in there. There's a sink right here. Plenty of storage. On the starboard side, we have our shore power 1 and 2, and then we have our docking controls here. So you have a great station here with a good view forward and aft. You can see when you're coming into the slip. Your joystick control here, so you have 360-degree control. You can twist the boat, move it forward, aft, sideways. It controls the engines and the thrusters. You have your independent thruster control and engine controls right here, along with start and stop. And you have rudder gauge right here. See where everything's pointed. You have the ladder here that goes topside to the Flybridge. On the starboard side, there's this great locker here. It's a good place to put dock lines. Self-draining. And on the port side here, we have another deck hatch that opens. This gives access here into the lazarette. But wait, there's more. You can access to the lazarette as well through this door here and through this door here. Okay, so we're going to go down to the lazarette here, which also gives us access into the engine room. We're going to show you all the mechanicals of the Offshore 54. So you can either climb down the ladder here with this hatch. There's also another hatch with a ladder in the galley that leads to the front of the engine room. Or we have this nice hatch here with these steps and a nice handle to hang on to as you're going down. So coming in here, I apologize for the noise as the air conditioning is running. Going to sit down right here and take a look around. So you can see here that we have a port and starboard freshwater tanks. See that this one here is 135 gallons. Everything is very well labeled. We have some outlets here and the plugged-in peripherals. The mufflers over there for the port engine exhaust. The air conditioning pump here. To the left of me, this is the thermodynamic compressor. So there are fan units throughout the boat. Now this runs on a 240 volt system and 24 volts. So it has a built-in inverter. It's very, very efficient, and it's a very quiet system in the boat. The loudest thing on the boat is the pump. It really is a top-of-the-line air conditioning system designed and built in Italy. So looking here more out on the port side, we can see some of the washdown hoses over there. See some valves outboard. Looking directly aft, we can see part of the Optimus electric steering system. These components here, the rams, and then we have the AVT hydraulic stern thruster right there. Rolling around, looking at starboard, we can see we have the hydraulic reservoir here for the AVT system. And we have assorted valves, filters, coolers, everything you would expect on a boat this size. And you know, with these hatches open, it's very bright in here. It's easy to see what's going on. The black rubberized floors with everything else, all the paneling in white, does make for a very clean and you know, definitely industrial look, but also a piece of art. You see here we have the engine battery switches. And then we have this watertight door here, which leads us into the engine room. Now this is, it's not a standing engine room, but you can definitely crouch in here very easily to move around. You're not crawling really, you're crouching around. You can see here on port side, we've got this great open area. This would be a nice spot for tools, tool chests, that kind of thing. We've got the engine batteries, the port side right here in this box, battery charger. We have the computer systems for both engines. Swinging around on starboard, we see we have the generator here to Northern Lights. If you wanted to have a second generator, you could certainly put one in. It would go right here. See, on the overhead, we have these large opening hatches into the saloon. So if major engine maintenance did need to occur, you just pop these hatches off, no problem. You can see here that we have the man. These are the straight six 850 horsepower engines. These are specifically designed for trawlers and yachts under 55 feet, so it fits just perfectly for the Offshore 54. They're very efficient motors for Mans. They're very quiet because they're common rail diesels. So it's definitely a really nice setup for this boat. And with the power plants in this boat, she will cruise at 18 to 20 knots, which is quite a good clip for a boat this size. You can see down here, she does have the Boss shafts. These are actually integral shaft tubes. So it's a shaft filled with oil, and the prop shaft goes through it all the way back to the prop. And we have these the hydraulic lines right here that feed into it. This is for the C torque shaft, oil right there, so make sure it keeps it topped off. It's a very low vibration system, so it transfers very little vibration through the boat itself. It's definitely a really nice setup for a luxury yacht like this. You see here all of our services are easy to access. A nice wide area to work on. Stainless steel engine beds. It's really easy to get to everything throughout here. We get to the forward end of the engine room. You can see the port and starboard fuel filters. You can see the ABT track stabilizers out there. See the fuel tanks here are outboard on the starboard side. Behind this paneling here, we have a joystick maneuvering system there. She carries 1,000 gallons of fuel. There's a centerline tank as well, which is right in front of this bulkhead here. So this is 278, and then you have twin 295s outboard. Again, everything is just really nicely labeled, easy to access. Like I said, this hatch here goes up into the galley. Just well thought out. The installation is excellent. This is something that you see commonly on much larger yachts, this kind of a setup. So having this kind of an arrangement, everything's so well labeled and well lit, is really a treat. Actually going to go up through this hatch here. Here we go. Get ourselves back up on deck. So moving into the saloon here, we come across these really nice glass and stainless doors. Very easy to operate. Just flip the handle, push it open, they click into position. Do the same thing on this side. They click in. To close them, just move the handle again, move in and out. So they lock in the open or closed position. Really nicely done. And then of course, have these bug screens here that are built in. Great setup. So let's take a look around here. Just absolutely fantastic. This is your floating palace, your home away from home. Really just beautifully appointed. Get the galley here, just in front of the saloon, the Pilothouse above. So starting in the saloon here, you can see on the starboard side, we have these two white chairs, white leather chairs, with this table here on the end with the lamp. See, we have the master air conditioning control for the thermodynamica system, touchscreen controls all throughout. And on the port side, we have this nice corner settee. And the table here, you can crank the table up or down to whatever height you need. And then you can also open the table up. You can bring the two chairs over, use this for dining, cards, or just relaxing and watching TV. The TV, which in this case here, pops up out of the cabinet there. It's really nicely produced and put together. Moving up into the galley on the starboard side, got this great cabinet here with a large table on top. Lots and lots of storage. These quartz countertops are just gorgeous. I love the high backsplash here. Keeps the occupants and the couch protected. All the chefs at work. Great large stainless steel sink. Got a pull-out faucet here. Got drinking water tap, in-sink aerator. Turn behind, we have a convection microwave oven, a Force 10 electric oven and stovetop here. Your refrigeration is here, really nicely set up, and then of course your freezer's up there in that cabinet. It's a great little coffee nook here. It's got the slide out tray, great for your Keurig machine. Your trash compactor, it's a must-have for cruising. And of course you got your plenty of room for storage. All your cutlery is nicely fitted. It's really well laid out here in the saloon and galley for a 54-foot motor yacht. Very well pointed, very comfortable. So we're going to go down the stairs here into the master. Now the master's access to this stairwell, that's the starboard of the galley. And would you look at that, just gorgeous. It's a great private stateroom here. It's right in the middle of the yacht, so it's right on the center of gravity, so it's got the least amount of motion. You've got this great window here on the port side, excellent visibility, especially getting up in the morning, seeing yourself in the Bahamas. What a fantastic view. I love the color separation here with the white backboards, and you've got the teak around with all the bed furnishings. You've got the quartz night tables, the reading lamps, the extra lighting, just really, really well done. Just gonna take a whole look around. Got a large flat screen TV. A great dresser here with these drawers. Nice fiddle here on top. And just look at the joinery, just absolutely perfect as you look around the boat. I love these cedar line hanging lockers here. The full length mirror. Another look here at this port side window. What a great view. And for privacy, you get the built-in blinds here that come down. Now what's equally important for any major cabin is a second access, how to get out in an emergency. Offshore's thought about that really well. You got these two flip down steps, step up here, step up here. You push up this panel at the top. This is under the cushion on the port side, the Pilothouse seating area. And so this gets you right up into the Pilothouse by pushing it up right there. Going over here on the starboard, you can see the master head. What a great setup. We use tile floors. There's the shower, great big shower. Electric head. And I love all the paneling that was done in here. Just really well set up. Sliding door. Moves effortlessly. Just a beautiful setup in here. What a great master stateroom. So we're up here on the Pilothouse of the Offshore 54. I really do enjoy this arrangement of a Pilothouse. And Offshore's done a great job on this hull. It's just beautiful. It's contemporary, it's innovative, it's still traditional and classic. And I really enjoy the view all around. Now, even at the helm, if you had to look aft, you could still look aft and see behind the transom. These port and starboard Pilothouse doors are just great. They're easy to open, easy to lock. They're solid. Fiberglass and stainless steel. We got the port side one open here. I'll show you quickly how it operates. So go behind it really quick. They get a good view. Release this clip here. Let's give it a little push forward to get it away from that. We'll step back inside. Gonna pull the door forward. Grab by the handle here. Give give it a twist. It's closed, and now to lock it so you can't open from the outside, all you have to do is press that in like that. Now it's locked. You can't open it until you pull this handle back out. Nice firm engagement, easy to do. So looking around here, right above us, I have an opening little hatch right there. Great to get some ventilation in, or if you need to, put a bug screen in, or the shade. Keep the shade here, keep the sun out. Up top, we've got our masterable electric controls for the battery systems, our ABT track stabilizers, our touchscreen man controls, annunciator panel, tells us which pumps are running, which chargers are running, the generators, that kind of thing, the lights, high water alarm, engine shutdown system. And then down lower here, we see we've got our radios, our electric engine controls and joystick, 3 Garmin plotters, we've got radar, we have cameras in the engine room and the back deck, all of our bilge pump switches, lighting switches. We have our microphones down here. There's even a chart table right here, good place to put stuff. Unroll a chart up top here, or turn around, put it here, or even turn around and put it back here. This table is really easy to adjust in height. You just rotate the crank, it goes up and down. You get the fiddles there, so when you bring it down, it rests flat. Put a cushion on top, crash out right here if you're the captain. You have storage back here. A good place to put your binoculars or your safety gear, anything else you might need on the bridge. So you have our generator control panel for the northern lights. We have our DC switches. It's a traditional switch panel. They always work. And on this side here, we have all our AC switches. All nicely labeled, well thought out. Plugs here, we have a USB charger for your cell phone, more plug-ins for other appliances you might need at the bridge. We have wipers, we have lighting up top here, red and white. And just whatever you need, it's at your fingertips. Beautiful teak helm wheel. Here's the Optimus 360 electric steering. It's a really innovative, full of technology yacht. It's easy to operate by a couple. So one of the great things that I love about the Offshore 54 is the Flybridge layout. It's just really well set up. So you've got this wraparound sofa here with these 2 teak tables. Nicely done. Check out the drainage channels here in the tables. So any kind of spray or water that may end up here just rolls right off. Got these all-weather cushions, and there are storage lazarettes beneath. It's a great place for all your extra pillows or for your covers for all your equipment up here. Got these 2 pomponette chairs here, and these are swiveling, and there's little foot stands at the bottom. This nice molded-in cup holder with a drain, grab bar here. Something solid to hang on to if you need to. There's even a grab bar around the windshield here. Again, this helps to knock down any spray if it ever came up here. Over on the port side, we've got just a nice insulated ice chest with a drain built in. Fills full of ice and drinks. Speaking of ice, come over to the starboard side here. We have a stainless steel ice maker. Lots of storage. There's a really deep sink over here. Flip up faucet. Check out the stainless steel hardware. Really nice. The underside of all the hatches is all perfectly finished. Really well done. I like this really large topside galley countertop. It's got this nice fiddle here to keep things from sliding off. Again, drainage channels. Check out this stainless steel blaze propane barbecue. This is pretty sweet. And look, it's absolutely huge. It even has built-in lighting. I mean, you can't get any better than this. It's got a built-in broiler. So the whole works. Now moving around here, we've got this nice staircase at the aft end of Flybridge that goes down to the cockpit. It's a good way to get access. You need to go down and help getting dock lines. And then on the ports of here, we have a 1,000-pound davit. It's extendable here at the end. So looking up top, you can see we've got for a newer edition for the 54 series hardtop, we have built-in lighting and speakers. You can see the top side. The top side is non-skidded, so it's easy if you had to store, say, paddle boards or kayaks up there, or even if you are a bit of a techie and you wanted to add extra gear like solar panels or Starlink or SATCOM domes, you can certainly do so. Moving back to the front side of the Flybridge, we can see the helm station here. This is a redesigned helm station, lower profile pod. It's easy to see over the front, great view over the bow. We've got all of our normal controls. We have our ZF electronic engine controls along with a joystick control. This is the third joystick aboard. There's another one back aft at the docking station and one below in the Pilothouse. We have two Garmin 8600 series plotters, along with Garmin autopilot and instruments. They have control for the stabilizers, control for the bow and stern thruster. We get the trim tab controls, lighting controls, and alarms, and along with the two VHF radio remotes right there. Looking over the top, we can see our two hailer horns for our two VHF radios. So you have duplicates of everything for your VHFs, and including you have a pair of Marinco trumpet horns right there. So again, a really nice area. On this one, there's no canvas installed, but of course it can certainly be added. You can enclose this and turn this into a real 3-season area, or if you're just looking to say cruise the Bahamas, you can turn it. You can just keep the canvas off and nice and open, bright and airy. So we're going to head down here into the VIP area. So get these nice wide stairs here. Great teak and stainless steel grab bars as you go down. A really nice setup. Nice wide steps. We have a locker here. This has some mechanical access. So you can see that we had the Mastervolt house battery chargers. Part of the air conditioning setup in here. Part of the inverters in here. Nice sound insulation, so once this is all closed up, it all goes away. So this is the VIP stateroom forward. Centerline queen berth, island style, with steps around port and starboard. A built-in flat screen TV. Two opening port lights, as well as an overhead vent, also an escape hatch if need be. Built-in ocean air screen and shade. The chain locker is forward there, behind that panel. We have the bed here as well. We have the drawers here. And then the bow thruster will be accessible under the bed. See, we have our own thermodynamic air conditioning and heating control in here. It's all touchscreen panels, really nice. All the lockers in here are really well done. Hanging lockers are cedar lined. Really love the joinery of these boats. See the doors of the raised paneling here. It's all handcrafted teak. I mean, like this edge here, this edge has a curve to it. It looks like it's a sharp edge, and it's not. It's nicely curved and just really well fitted out trim all the way around. All the door hardware is nicely moves. The hinges are all top quality. Even gaskets here in the doors help with sound deadening and opening and closing of all the hatches. Really well set up. Back in the passageway here, see we have the washer and dryer units, double stack. Nice, beautiful accordion teak doors. Just snap into place. And then turning over here, we come into the guest head, which I love the tile that they're using, and the countertops. These quartz countertops are really something else. Beautiful mirror, the lighting and the overhead. Tecmo electric head. Stainless steel framed front door for the shower with a frosted glass piece. Quartz seat, the tile floor. Another couple of port lights in here. Really nicely done. Something I like as well is we're actually under the Pilothouse helm station. So if you open like this door here, and then we can actually reach our hands up, turn on this light, check that out. We have access to the back side of the entire helm station here. So you've got your whole NEMA 2000 backbone, your 3 plotters, your VHF radios on either side. Everything's accessible under here. So you don't have to be a magician to get access to something if you had to do any kind of maintenance. It's all nicely put together. So hanging around up here in the VIP cabin for another minute, I opened the floorboard here so we can take a look in the bilge forward of the master cabin. So you can see this bulkhead here. This is the forward bulkhead separating the master cabin from the VIP area. You can see these 2 frames here. These are 2 of the longitudinal frames. These are the starboard side, and there's another one here you can see, and then the 4th one on the port side over there you can't see because it's under the house batteries. You can see the bilge down there. The bilge is set up with an ultra safety bilge switch right there. And then you see that valve, that metal valve with the blue handle. That's so that you can actually, in an emergency, connect bilges together. You can open that valve and connect that bilge with the one behind it. In case you had a pump failure or something else occurred, you can move water back to another pump. You can see just forward of that gray tank. There's a sump box tank there. Now we're going to put the camera down in here, take a little more of a look around. You can see part of the holding tank system there. So you've got some of the holding tank plumbing. See, everything's nicely labeled and double clamped. See, that says right there, that main holding tank pump. So that's going into the holding tank. That's the holding tank pump out right there. So that's the outlet, and that's going that way, which will head to a valve and then eventually over the side. You can see our bank of house batteries here. So we've got a set of Mastervolt batteries there. Wrap around, there's a couple more right here on the forward side, right against this bulkhead here. So we can see it's nicely set up. Each battery has its own disconnect safety switch. So if one of these lithium batteries develop a fault for any case, it can be isolated from the rest of the system, and the system will continue to operate as normal. And swinging around here, we can even see we have pre-wiring for solar panels here. So the solar panel pre-wiring is already run down here. All that's needed at this point is to hook up a charge controller and then hook it up to the batteries. See here more of the wiring. See all the accesses here through the bulkhead are sealed. So truly, yep, truly are watertight bulkheads. I mean, you look down here at these are all fully sealed wiring accesses here. It's really nicely well done. Everything's nicely labeled. Even the batteries, the battery 3, house batteries, nicely set up. See over there, we've got some more valves. These are the, looks like the holding tank, dump out valves, discharge valves right there. All easily accessed and plenty of room in here. You can get down here. You can't stand up, but you could almost stand up. It's that much space in this compartment. Really nicely done. Now coming back out, just to show you some more of the quality of this build, you look at the floorboard here. How thick this is. This is about 1.5 inch thick teak board. Painted on the bottom side. It's solid. This is not going to move. It's really nicely well done. All right, well, that was the tour of the Offshore 54. I hope you're still tuned in. I know it was a bit lengthy, but it's a lot to show, and there's a lot more that just because of time and things, it couldn't show you, but there's a lot to these boats. They're worth exploring if you're interested in this kind of a yacht. A little talk about price here. This boat is at $2.68 million. She's brand new, full warranties, low hours on the equipment. She's moved from Florida up to Maryland. She'll be around Maryland for a little open house we're doing September 19th in City Dock of Annapolis. And then she'll be at Trawler Fest in Baltimore. And then she'll be in the Annapolis Powerboat Show. And after that, she's planning to move down to the Fort Lauderdale International Boat Show at the end of October. So I will be there at all those events. So please feel free to find me. And thank you again for tuning in to the first Let's Talk Yachting podcast. I guess this is a historical moment. Again, my name is Erik Haaland with David Walters Yachts. My direct cell phone line is 410-279-3027, and my email is Erik, ERIK, @davidwaltersyachts.com.